Hi, welcome to another Colors of Prog. Today, talking about Happy the Man, another obscure American prog band from the 70s. Although technically they released two studio albums, Happy the Man in 77 and Crafty Hands in 78, they reunited in 2004 for The Muse Awakens. And despite there being compilation albums released in 83 and 90 and a live album, we'll get to that later, Death's Crown, issued in 99, that dated from live shows recorded during the 77, 78 Happy the Man tours, whatever. Um, they remain a hidden treasure of nearly forgotten, almost fully instrumental progressive music bands. Prior to the release of their first album, the seeds of the band were formed in Virginia. Guitarist Stanley Whitaker and bass player Rick Kennel had originally met in Germany in 1972. Whitaker was with his father, an Army officer, and Kennel was on deployment to Germany. Whitaker had formed a band called Shady Grove, a covers band that dabbled in progressive rock music. Kennel joined, but Whitaker returned home. By 74, Happy the Man, the band, now had a new name, christened by Stanley Whitaker's brother. Now, Happy the Man was not named after the single by Genesis, but a mention of the poet Goethe's Faust. Um, it's a reference to a biblical passage in Faust. So they relocated to Washington, D.C. So the time of the first Happy the Man album, recorded in 1976 at A&M Studios, with producer Ken Scott at the helm. So they kind of lucked out with that. He had worked with David Bowie and Supertramp. Now, Happy the Man got the label contract at the urging of Clive Davis. Somebody, one of Clive Davis's record people, saw the band perform and said, "You got to go see them." Remember, Davis was a big wig in record labels and back in those days. And he is said to have said he didn't understand the band, their music, or their approach, but he heard many good things about them. So he's going to give them a shot. So the lineup for the self-titled debut was Stanley Whitaker on guitars and vocals, uh, Kit Watkins on piano, Fender Rhodes, MIDI Moog, harp, clavinet, flute, etc. Frank Wyatt on sax, flute, keyboards, and vocals, Rick Kennel on bass, and Mike Beck on drums. It's 9 songs on the debut album, play over 49 minutes of music, mostly instrumentals. And the music sounds close to, but not quite there. Genesis, yes, maybe even Van de Graaff Generator. Um, they certainly displayed a then unique sound. Only 2 vocal selections out of the 9 songs, and it's up to the 3 longest tracks are the best tunes. 9-minute Mr. Mirror's Reflection of Dreams. That's quite a good song. The 6-minute Knee-Bitten Nymphs in Limbo. I love these guys' song titles. There's 8-minute New York Dream Suite. 3 really good songs in that debut. Issue is at the dawn of punk rock and new wave, it was a bold choice for the label to go with Happy the Man. Now, prior to them signing with, I think it's the AM, I think it was Arista Records, actually. Um, Peter Gabriel contacted the band, Peter Gabriel, lead singer of Genesis, originally. He met with the band looking for a backing group for his first solo album and tour. Now, they rehearsed together. Where are those tapes? Um, Gabriel went to Happy the Man's Arlington, Virginia home, and they worked on music. Ultimately, though, Gabriel changed his mind and went another route. Now, the record label were really trying to help the band out. So in 1977, Happy the Man went on tour with Foreigner, Renaissance, Stomo Yamashita, and even Hot Tuna. Pretty interesting. Nice to see that as an opening band for those bands. By the time of the follow-up, which was 1978's Crafty Hands, um, there was only one song that wasn't an instrumental, Wind Up Day Wind. It was sung by Whitaker. But that song, 7 minutes long, and there's also another 7 minute long song, The Moon I Sing, 6 minutes, were the album's highlights. And they also had a new drummer, uh, Ron Riddle, I believe, who was on the Crafty Hands album. However, this failed to chart, and the label gave up on them, and the band soldiered on anyway for a while. The drummer left. It was replaced by a French drummer, um, and Kit Watkins departed. He was the additional keyboardist. He joined the British band Camel. How's that? There was a Happy That Man album released, Better Late Than Never. It was released on the Indie Cuneiform label in 1990. But the music comes from sessions intended for the third album before being dropped by the record label. But it's really remastered demo tapes. It's almost hard. It's so hard to find this record nowadays. Supposedly, a vinyl version of Better Late Than Never was released on Azimuth Records, uh, but I don't know of any confirmation that that happened. And I'm understood from people who've heard it that the demos have been in kind of rough shape to work on. Beginnings, another now obscure album released on the Cuneiform label in 1990, consists of demo tapes from the 74-75 period. Now, Happy the Man was still, as we say, woodshedding their sound. So that was actually before they fine-tuned their music. Death's Crown, released on Cuneiform again in 1999 in CD, contains band rehearsals from the 74 and 75 period. Again, this is pre these first two albums. Uh, Thing is, it does feature an early version of New York Dream Suite that appeared on one of their albums. Now, Death's Crown is in essentially almost a jam. It's 38 minutes long, so it might be of interest to fans. It's been on YouTube and it's been taken down, then it resurfaces every now and again. Finally, the true Happy the Man album that was the third one, The Muse Awakens, surfaced on Inside Out label in 2004. In addition to the returning Stanley Whitaker, Frank Wyatt, and Rick Kennel, there was additional keyboard player David Rosenthal and another new drummer, Joe Bergamini. There's 11 tracks, most of 5 to 6 minutes of length, but the last Il Quinto Mare breaks the 7 minute mark. You would never know that their last recorded true album was released in 1978, over 2 decades previous. Personally, I believe this Happy the Man album holds up very well against the first two. Uh, yes, and always in hindsight, maybe it's a little bit more jazzy, maybe a little bit more ambient than some of the quieter stages. But I'm going to say I highly recommend the band. And I highly recommend this Muse Awakens album. Stanley Whitaker and Frank Wyatt started another band. Check this out, Oblivion Sun in the mid 2000s. They released Oblivion Sun in 2007 and a follow-up, The High Places, I believe, in 2013. Happy the Man would occasionally reunite for progressive rock festivals. Frank Wyatt passed away due to cancer in 2023, unfortunately putting an end to any more reunions. But I'm going to try to find this Oblivion Sun material. I want to see how it compares to this Happy the Man sound, which is like instrumental progressive music. As they started out with like a Genesis feel in a way. It's another obscure band for those who don't know. I check them out. Look, find the stuff. It's really good, very worth listening to. And that's yeah, these past couple of shows have been American progressive music that's kind of a bit obscure. So thanks for watching.